हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Bhagwan, after teaching Arjuna everything about the dharma which is revealed in our Vedas, the path of karma yoga, jnana, karma sannyas, dhyana, bhakti, and how that Atma itself is Param Atma, I am Atma Brahma, and how one can transcend the Maya, the Trigunatmika Maya, and recognize our own self. All this teaching was revealed to Arjuna. Now in this 15th chapter, Bhagavan summarizes the whole teaching in just 20 verses. So he gives not only the gist of Bhagavad Gita but also the Vedas in this chapter. So the whole world is depicted as a tree. All the Vedas, the main intention of the Veda is to finally make us realize our own self. And that self is Brahma. And that Brahma alone is expressing as this world. So the world is a natural expression of that Brahma through its Shakti called Maya or Prakriti. So the whole world is one unit. It's like a tree with its source as Brahma. Therefore, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam, with its roots up, roots as that Maya Yukta Brahma, and the branches below. So the various jivas, starting from Brahma, that is Hiranyagarbha, Vaishvanara, Devatas, are all like various branches, and the lokas are also like those branches where they have built their own nests where they stay. And all the leaves are like the Vedas which protect this tree. And in the human world, we perform our actions and we also grow our own secondary roots which propel actions further and tie us down to this world. So having described this world very beautifully, now Bhagavan tells us what to do with this world. Means why it was revealed, why this description was given, what is the intention. That Bhagavan reveals now in the following verse number 3. Na rupamasseha tathopalabhyate nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam asangashastrena dridhena chitva. Bhagavan says that na rupam asya iha yatha varnitam tatha na eva upalabhyate. That though this whole world is described, but it is not something which can be seen as it is, because it is constantly changing. It's like somebody is told to describe a moving thing. By the time you describe, it has already changed, it has already gone. So the very nature of this world is that it is asat. Asat means constantly changing existence. Every minute thing changes in this world. But the one who is supporting this world, the one who is experiencing this world, he doesn't change. He is changeless. So I, the Kshetrajna, is changeless, and whatever I experience is constantly changing. Just as we see a dream, it lasts as long as we see, and then when we wake up, nothing of the dream is available. It was just created by the samskars of our mind, but when we try to seek the objects of the dream, nothing is available. Or when we see the mirage waters, so the waters appears there, but when we go to collect that water, then we only see the sand. If we go to the very source, we see only sand. So Swapna Marichi Udaka Maya Gandharva Nagara, or in the sky we see a beautiful formation of the cloud, and by the time we want to show it to someone else, the formation has already changed. So that is the very nature of this world, that it is constantly changing. So what does it mean? It means that whatever karma I perform in this world and whatever results I get, that also change. Everything is temporary. Sarvam kshanikam kshanikam. Sarvam dukkham dukkham. Everything is temporary, and everything ultimately gives sorrow, pain, fear. So if we seek something permanent in this world, it is just a dream. It cannot be done. So that is the very nature of this world. Bhagavan says, Shankaracharya is drashta nashta swarupaha. Its swarupa is the very moment we are seeing it, it is changing. Every moment it changes. Now we are also coming to the end of this year. So just it appears as though the year had started just few months ago, and it's already coming to a conclusion. And people will get excited about the new year and celebration and all, and then again it will just vanish. Diniyaminyo sayam pratah shishira vasanto punarayatah kala kredati gacchati ayuhu tadapi namunchati asha vayuhu. The days go by, the seasons go by, the whole world keeps on changing, and our desires never gets exhausted. Our expectation never get exhausted. We keep running after this world and feeling more and more dejected, depressed, disillusioned. And this is what it is. It was like that many from the beginningless time. Everyone who tried to seek something in this world got nothing in the end. It's like you see sometimes the little children trying to catch the soap bubbles. So you can blow that soap water and create that bubbles, and lot of bubbles are there, and little children try to catch them. And by the time they catch and they feel that, oh, I have succeeded in catching, the bubble bursts. So all our actions and the results of actions, not only in this world, but also in the other world, are like bubbles only. It appears as though we have got it, but by the time we sit back and relax and try to enjoy what we got, it has already gone. It has already gone. That is the very nature of this world. Drashta nashta swarupaha na antaha. न च आदिहि न च sampratishtha upalabhyate. We try to see the end of this world, when it will conclude, where it will finally merge, where it will go. We can't see the end. If we try to see the end of it, it doesn't. Even if you look at a tree, it keeps on growing every day, though appears as though the same tree, but it keeps growing. New leaves keep on coming, and new branches keep on coming, and the what you call the trunk also keep on growing, and the tree keep changing. Similarly, this world also keeps on moving and going on and on and on. If we try to see the end of it, we will not be able to see. So, na antaha and na adihi, and from where it began, if we try to find out the source of this world, we will not be able to find, because with our ability, with our way of searching this through our senses, through the praman of pratyaksha, anuman, upaman, arthapatti, if we try to find the source of this world, we will never find it. All the scientists keep on struggling, trying to find from where everything arose, what is the source, how we can understand it, but we can't see its beginning. Okay, if not to beginning, not end, at least at the present moment, let us catch this world, let us try to understand it. In the present moment, you try to catch it, but it is impossible to catch it in the present also. As I had mentioned yesterday also, the time keeps on moving. You try to catch the present moment. By the time you catch it, it has already become the past. So, nacha sampratishtha stitihi madhyamasya na kenachit upalabhyate. That is the very nature of this world. We can never know it by itself. It's like the ornament. The ornament you can never know without neglecting the gold. Without understanding the gold, if you only want to understand the ornament by itself, the secret of the ornament you can never know. And that is what is the trouble with the whole world. Everyone neglects God, everyone neglects Bhagwan, and they want to understand the world. They want to understand their life. They want to understand their karma. They want to understand the results. Neglecting Ishvara, if we try to understand, nothing will be there in our hand. Because it is not there. If the world devoid of Ishvara is not there. The world devoid of Ishvara is not existing. The world which we see is existing along with Ishvara. So when we shift and when we don't recognize Ishvara, what we are seeing is only a non-existing world. So it's very strange. And that is the great tragedy in this world. People try to go away from the reality, away from Ishvara, and try to catch hold of this world. That's what Ravan did. Ravan tried to take Sita ji away from Sri Ram. He could not see the greatness of Ram. He wanted just Sita ji. But that ultimately led to his destruction. Sita and Ram cannot be separated. They are one. If you just try to focus attention only on Sita, only on the Shakti, neglecting the Shaktiman, it will not be beneficial. So Bhagavan says, कि this world as described here, you will not see. The description is given so that you get the whole concept and gain vairagya. न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते न अंतो न चादिर न च संप्रतिष्ठा. So, what is this vairagya? Bhagavan says, Ashwatthaменam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena dhradena chitva. You have to cut asunder this tree. You have to cut this tree. Cut this tree means gain vairagya from this tree. Asanga shastrena dhradena chitva. That is the first step. Having cut this tree, then what we have to do, Bhagavan will tell in the next verse. But he says first you have to cut this tree through the shastra of asanga, of detachment. Why it is so difficult? He said, yes, because this Ashwatthaменam suvirudhamulam, this Ashwattha Vriksha, this giant tree, is very, very firmly rooted. It is firmly rooted. So unless you cut it, you will not be able to see its roots. The roots have gone too deep. See, if you see a huge tree, you can see everything except the roots which have gone deep within the soil. If we want to see the roots, we have to uproot the tree and then we will be able to see the roots. So similarly, symbolically, here we have to cut this tree with the shastra, with the axe of asanga. Asanga means detachment. Vairagya. See, vairagya doesn't mean dislike. Not that we have to dislike this world. Not that we have to hate this world. Vairagya is shifting our attention away from the world with an intention to seek the root. Vairagya with an intention to seek the root. See, when we dislike something, we hate that object because we think it is giving us sorrow, pain. But here, when Bhagavan is talking about Vairagya, he is telling us that we should become free not only of attachment but also detachment, means raga dvesha, free from likes and dislikes. Means shift our attention away from this tree and go to the source. If we have like or if we have dislike, we are still stuck at the tree. Whether we have like or where we have dislike, we are still stuck with the tree. There was this person who had to go to a wedding. So he wore nice suit, dressed very nicely, and was about to go for that wedding. But at the last minute, his friend just happened to come, his very dear friend, who suddenly arrived. So he told his friend that I am going to this wedding and I can't avoid it. I have to go. And all great people will be coming, so I want to go there and make my appearance. So the friend said, but I have come all the way to meet you, so why not take me also along? He said, okay, but you have not got any proper dress and all for the wedding. So yes, friend said, yes, I don't have proper dress, so why not lend me something from your cupboard, from your almirah for me to wear. So this, I think it is story of Mullah Nasruddin. So Mullah Nasruddin said, yes, I will give you my coat, which is also very dear to me, but I will give you, so you wear it and just see that you handle it properly and come. So the coat, which was very dear to Mullah Nasruddin, he gave it to his friend, and both of them went to the wedding. So people welcome Mullah Nasruddin, and they welcome his friend also. They asked her, who is this with you? So Mullah Nasruddin said, he is my very dear friend, and the coat which he is wearing is mine. It just came out from his mouth, because he was all the time thinking of his coat only. So his friend felt very bad. He said, why you have to mention the coat? That it is yours. Oh, he said, sorry, it just came out. So again, he was introducing to someone else. He said, he is my very dear friend, and he is wearing his own coat. Hare Baba, you don't have to mention anything about the coat, that it is mine, it is yours. Okay. It just came out from my mouth. Next time I will be very careful. So again, they started meeting people, enjoying the wedding, reception. Then again Mullah Nasruddin introduced his friend to someone else, and he was very careful that I should not say that this coat belongs to me or him and all. So he introduced his, meet my friend, very dear friend of mine, and I don't know whose coat he is wearing. So all the time his attention was on the coat only. And that is what is happening with our attachment. So when we are attached to this world, our attention is all the time on the world only. Our own life, our family, our friends, our relatives, our job, our government, our vaccines, our pandemics. All the time our attention is on that, and we think about it, we dream about it, we talk about it, we write about it, we quote about it. We are all the time involved in that. So our involvement is either in the world of attachment, means in the world which we like, or in the world which we don't like. We have divided the whole world into two parts, that which we like and that which we don't like. And our mind is there only. So if our mind is all the time in likes and dislikes, we will not be able to contemplate and recognize that Supreme. We will not be able to go beyond this and come to understand that Supreme Brahma. We have to transcend this. We have to transcend it with detachment. That is the first step. So Bhagavan says that Ashwattamenam Suvirudhamulam. This Ashwatta Vriksha is very strongly rooted. So with Asanga Shastra, with the weapon of Asanga, detachment, you cut this Vriksha. You cut it, means you transcend it. You shift your attention. Physically we can't cut this world. Physically we can't do anything with this world. So you cut it, means transcend it, become detached from this world. See, we can gain detachment through, one method is through seeing the defects, dosha drishti. By seeing that what we are running after is not really what we want. What we are spending our time is not really what we want. even after putting forth all effort and energy and time, if we get something, that is not what we want. That is not what we want. So, if we, through dosha drishti, muhur, by seeing the defect, we can gain vairagya. That is one way. Another way, and the most beautiful, and the way which Vedanta encourages, is through viveka, nitya vastu viveka. By doing by distinguishing exactly what is sat and asat. Means what is changing existence and what is the changeless existence. What is that which constantly changes and what is that which doesn't change. If we analyze this very beautifully, we will understand that I, the drashta, doesn't change. And if you look at this world, you will understand the names and form changes, but that existence doesn't change. When you look at this world, everything is experienced as is. What is experienced as is changes, but that existence doesn't change. So out in this world, the existence doesn't change. If you look within, the drashta doesn't change. The I, the sakshi, the kshetrajna doesn't change. The kshetra constantly changes. So the vivek between the kshetrajna and kshetra, that is the nitya and anitya, that is the sat and asat, that is atma and anatma, this viveka gives rise to vairagya. Means when we do this vivek very vividly, we come to know the temporariness of this world as it is seen. And when we come to understand this, that our attention will drop from it. Our thirst and craving for it will go away. Because what we are seeking knowingly and unknowingly is that which is permanent, that which is eternal, that which is sukha. We, all of us, knowingly or unknowingly, even the most ignorant person is seeking eternal happiness. Eternal means ever existing happiness we are seeking. Means all of us are seeking our own self. We might not be aware that we are seeking our own self. Even the most materialistic person is also seeking his own self, not knowing. So if we gain this, if we do this viveka, we will be able to gain that vairagya. And with the sword of vairagya, we have to cut this tree. Means we have to shift our attention from this tree. We have to just become absolutely detached from this tree of samsara. That is the first step. So ashvattamenam suvirudhamulam asanga shastrena dhridena chitva. Because without this vairagya, it is not possible to seek that supreme. Vairagya is a very important qualification. See, you must have heard the fourfold qualities which are mentioned of a seeker. So viveka, vairagya, shamadamadi, shat sampatti and mumukshutvam. Viveka is that ability to distinguish between kshetra and kshetrajna. Because that we can do it. This vivek is not between Brahma and world. It is between kshetrajna and kshetra. Very important. Because we know kshetrajna, we know kshetra. We can do vivek only of those things which we know. Brahma is unknown. The Turiya Atma is unknown. So by doing this Vivek of Kshetra, Kshetrajna, we will gain Vairagya from Kshetra. So Vivek gives rise to Vairagya, and when we have Vivek and Vairagya, then all other qualities will automatically come, like Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. These are the sixfold wealth. Shat Sampatti it's called. This Sampatti will come automatically when we have Vivek Vairagya. And when we have Vivek Vairagya and this sixfold Sampatti, then automatically that Mumukshutvam will also be there. An intense thirst for liberation, intense thirst to become free of this samsara. It might be very great and wonderful, but I don't want to be a permanent member in this samsara. See, when we go to a movie to enjoy that movie, we want we don't want a movie to be eternally present there. We want to just enjoy for a short time and then we want to leave that theater. Similarly, we want to leave this theater of samsara. So when we gain that vairagya and that mumukshutvam, we become fit to seek that source and become free. So that is what now Bhagavan says, after gaining this vairagya, what should we do? He says, Tatapadam tatparimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravrutti prasuta purani. Bhagavan says, Tataha, thereafter, after gaining this vairagya. As I said, vairagya is not dislike, vairagya is not hatred, vairagya is not sorrow, pain, dejection, depression. Vairagya is joy. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. When we have that vairagya, we will feel a deep sense of what you call peace and joy. This might appear very strange for worldly people, because in the world people generally gain joy, they know about joy by indulging with the objects. We know about joy by interacting with the world. If a person is said that you will be put in jail in solitary confinement and you will not have to interact with anyone, that person will feel most miserable. Because interaction with the world itself is the joy which we know. So I, who is getting that happiness, gets it from the objects. As I had mentioned yesterday, when I go to sleep, when I dream, there are no objects outside. And still I feel happy in my dream also. Sometimes when we have a good dream, we gain that happiness. So if you have gained happiness in your dream, where were the objects which gave you happiness? Oh, they were not there outside. They were just created by my mind. So without a physical object, you experience happiness in your dream. That means one can gain happiness without a physical object. And further, if you think, when we go to deep sleep, we gain happiness even without imaginary objects. Without the mental projection of any world, we become happy. That is the happiness, that is the ananda. See, the happiness which we gain from the world is called sukha. But the happiness of the Atma is called ananda. This sukha comes through some effort, through interaction, through involvement, whether it is in the waking or in the dream. The sukha which we gain is through the activity of the mind and intellect. In the waking, it interacts with the world, or in the dream, it creates the world. But that ananda of the self, there is no activity involved. It is my nature. Therefore, the scripture says not that you become happy, you are happiness. You are happiness. You are Ananda Swarup. Ananda Swarup. So that is my very nature. But I can pay attention to my nature if I become detached from this world. That is the condition. You can't see both with the same eye. If you want to see the world, then you will miss out seeing that supreme reality. If you want to see the supreme reality, you have to shift your attention from the world. It's like the focus. If I focus on some distant object, I can't see the object which are nearby properly. When I focus on the object close, I cannot see the object further away. So when my attention is on the world, the attention on that supreme reality cannot be given. I cannot pay attention to the supreme. So I have to shift my attention from this world. That's called Vairagya. And it should come out of joy. That is the sign that it has Vairagya has come through Viveka. If that Vairagya has not come from Viveka, then that Vairagya will not give us joy. It will be like the sour grapes. I keep jumping and trying to take the grapes. If I can't get it, I say, oh, chhod do, they are sour. Vairagya should come out of deep understanding and viveka. Then it will give us joy. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. Sura mandir taru moola nivasaha shayya bhutalam ajinam vasaha. Kasya sukham na karoti viragaha. What sukha a Vairagi doesn't get. You must have heard that story of that king who was so unhappy with all his wealth and position and name, fame, but still he was miserable, unhappy. So great enlightened person came to that kingdom. He happened to meet a saint. So the king said, I am so unhappy, please tell me what should I do. The saint told him that you are wearing a wrong dress, so you wear a coat of a happy person. Go in search of a very, very happy person and wear his dress. Then you will be happy. And he just disappeared, that saint. So king, he thought that, oh, this is a good idea. So he sent his ministers, go and find a happy person and get his dress for me. So they went in search of happy person. Everyone they met, they asked, are you happy? They said, theek hai, everything is fine, but ye kya hai ki this is, some misery is there. Some problem at home. My neighbor always troubles me. My boss is always useless fellow. So every person they met, they had their own sorrow and pain to tell them. So they keep searching everywhere. They've searched in their kingdom, they went to the neighboring kingdom, they went everywhere. Finally somebody said that there is one person who is very happy. who stays there on that mountain. So the king's men, they went and climbed the mountain and finally reached that place. Person was sitting there under a tree, and they asked him that, are you happy? He said, yes, I am very, very happy. Are you always happy? He said, yes, happy. Nandati, nandati, nandati eva. I am always in bliss. There is nothing in this world which can make me unhappy. I am always yoga ratova, bhoga ratova, sanga ratova, sanga vihina, yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati, nandati, nandati eva. So the king's men were very happy. They said, okay, you do think, can you lend us your dress? He said, look, I am not wearing any dress. I have only this little cowpin. If you want that also, I can give you. I am not wearing any coat or tie or suit and boot and nothing. And then the king realized that to be happy, we don't require the outer material world. Because the material world doesn't have the capacity to make us happy, nor does it have capacity to make us unhappy also. Because that happiness, unhappiness cannot touch that Atma. And Atma, the Ananda of that Atma doesn't depend on anything else. And we experience it every day when we go to sleep. In deep sleep, we are experiencing the happiness of our own self. But that we have to catch in our waking. We have to recognize that Ananda Swarupa Atma in our waking. Therefore, Bhagavan says, having gained that Vairagya, you seek that Parampada. That is the Parampada. That is the supreme goal. That is what we knowingly, unknowingly want. We want our own self. हमें अपनी ही खोज करनी है. We are seeking ourselves. We are seeking ourselves. So tatap padam tat parimargitavyam. Bhagavan says, thereafter, having gained Vairagya and cut this tree, you seek that pada, that goal. What goal? Vaishnavam. That pada of Vishnu, that all-pervading Brahma. Parimarganam, anveshanam, nyatavyam. You have to inquire, you have to seek within. It is not something which you will find in the world. So don't have to go to Rishikesh, Haridwar, Kedarnath, Badrinath, and Gangotri, Yamnotri, and Manas Sarovar and all. You have to enter the cave of your own heart. It is residing inside you. There are these layers which you have to cross. The outermost layer is the Annamaya Kosh. You cross it and you reach the Pranamaya Kosh. You cross it, you reach the Manomaya Kosh. You cross it, you reach the Vijnanamaya Kosh. You cross it, you reach the Anandamaya Kosh. And the very substratum of this Anandamaya Kosh, when you seek, you find that, oh, it's my Ananda Swarupa Atma. अपने अंदर यात्रा करनी है. Because if you want to gain anything of this world, you have to go out. The yatra is outside. But if you want to gain the supreme, you have to do this yatra within. अपने अंदर जाओ, खोजो. ततः पदम तत् परिमार्गितव्यम. उसका अन्वेषण करो, seek, trace it. As Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, you can trace that supreme pada by holding on to that I thought. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvata ahipatatyaham nija vicharanam ahaminasha bhajahamahantaya spuratirutsvayam paramapurnasat spuratirutsvayam paramapurnasat. You seek from where this I have this I notion, I say I am the seer, I know this world, I. So find out who is this I. Find out this I. Find out this Kshetrajna. Find out that I in which there is no thought of I. Find that I where even the thought of I doesn't have entry. Even the thought of I has to be kept outside, like we keep chappals outside the temple. Similarly, even the I thought has to be kept outside. That same self, that supreme self, when it goes out, it wears the chappal of I thought and moves in this world. The I thought is just a chappal. You have to transcend even the I thought and recognize that Atma. And once we recognize that Atma, we will know, Arey, yahi hai. This is what I was seeking. That Atma itself is Param Atma. That Atma itself is Brahma. That Atma itself is the source of this entire creation. That Atma is everything. It is the most sublime, most beautiful, and it is available for everyone because it is everyone's Atma only. So Bhagavan says, uski talash karo bhaiya tatap padam tat parimargitavyam. But what if we gain that, again we are seeking so many things in this world, we are getting it and we become again miserable. Bhagavan says this is not like that. He says, Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Having gained this, there is no more returning. It is not something about this world, having gained which we lose it. This Atma, having gained, you will never lose it. Because the gain is only recognizing, because you are already that. You are already that what you are seeking. Because you are that, you are seeking it. It is coming, your desire to seek that happiness is coming from your own self only. What you are seeking is yourself. So seek that Atma, tatap padam tat parimargitavyam, yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Having gained, having reached, there is no more coming back into this samsara. And how to seek it? Bhagavan says you seek it with the attitude of surrender, attitude of sharanagati. Just surrender to it. Just like how we surrender to sleep, we should surrender to our own self. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadde. That Param Purusha, my own supreme self. Tameva cha adyam purusham, who is the Adi Purusha, who was there even before the creation, and who will remain even when the whole creation comes and become or get dissolved. Adi. Ado Bhavam. So seek that Adi Purusha. Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadde. By saying that I am surrendering to you. O Supreme Self, I am surrendering to you. I am surrendering to you. It's like a person who is acting in a drama. A rich person is acting as a beggar in a drama. He wears all dirty clothes and all and begging on the stage. But after the drama is over, he just removes his the dirty clothes. And inside this dirty cloth is his real costly clothes are there already. So he just removes that cloth and throws it away. So after the drama, people come to see, Arey, kaun tha wo? Who was that artist who acted so well as a beggar? When they come to see him, that beggar is no more there. There is that rich person sitting with joy. Similarly, this ahankar is a beggar, and we are holding on to this beggar and asking for happiness in this world. We are identifying with this beggar and begging in this world for little joys. So drop this beggar and seek and remain established in your own supreme self. Tameva Chadyam, because you are that Adi Purusha. You were there before this creation, you are there present now, and you alone will remain when everything will get dissolved. So Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadde Yata Pravrutti Prasruta Purani. Who is that Adi Purush? Yataha, from whom? Prasrutaha Pravrutti Purani. All this pravrutti, all this creation has come from that Adi Purush only. So seek that source. And seek that source not going outside. Don't try to go to some other planet or some other galaxy to seek. You enter your own system and seek that source. Because if the source is there within, that Urdhva Mula is within you. That Urdhva Mula, that source, that Brahma is within. So jump into your own Antakarana and seek that source. Hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahma matram yaham ahamiti sakshad atma rupena bhati hridaya vishamanasa swam majjata chinvata majjata va pavana chalana rodhat atmanishto bhavatvam. So enter your own system and seek that supreme self. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadde yata pravrutti prasuta purani. So sharanataya parimargitavyam. So with the attitude of sharanagati, we should seek. Not as a curiosity, not with a sense of inquisitiveness, but with sharanagati. Don't enter your heart as a tourist. Sightseeing, ऐसे देखो फिर बाहर आ जाओ. नहीं, you just surrender to it. Take a one-way ticket to enter your heart, not a two-way ticket. Surrender to that supreme, your own supreme self. Okay? So you practice this, contemplate on it, and practice this, and enter your own heart and seek that source of this entire creation within you. Okay? More about this we will see in our class tomorrow. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and pray, inquire, meditate, and seek the source. We shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jaya जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, जय जय राम जय जय राम। बोले सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।